The outer rim of the Lystra quadrant was known for its quiet. Not the silent kind that felt empty, but a gentle, ever-present hum of energy like a sleeping universe breathing slowly in and out. For generations, humanity had trusted this region. They'd built observation towers, beacon rings, and research stations that glowed like small lanterns scattered across a dark, uncharted sea. And among them, the most remote, the most isolated, was a glass-spined station known simply as Outpost Theta. Theta drifted near a silver-blue nebula, anchored by gravitonic fins that shimmered whenever starlight touched them. Only a small rotating crew worked there, dedicated to monitoring subspace currents and mapping background resonance waves. Nothing unusual ever happened at Theta, nothing unexpected. The crew often joked that the most dramatic event in the station's history was the day a storage panel jammed but on the 412th cycle of the Sol Dominion calendar. During the calmest hour of Theta's night shift, the station trembled for the first time. It wasn't a violent jolt. More like a note played softly on an instrument older than the stars themselves, a deep, resonant hum that rippled through every corridor. Lights dimmed for a fraction of a second. Consoles flickered like they were briefly unsure of their own purpose. Then everything stilled again. The crew gathered in the central observatory, half confused, half expecting someone to reveal it was a scheduled calibration. No one did. The air felt subtly warmer than before, like the station had inhaled and was holding its breath. The chief analyst, a calm figure known for rarely showing excitement, activated the main holodisplay. It opened like a rising curtain, revealing a swirling mass of data points mapping the local sector. At first glance, everything appeared normal: nebula waves, dust currents, and faint background radiation. Then the anomaly appeared. It flickered into existence at the edge of the map, a single point of light, pulsing in a precise rhythm. Not random, not like a natural emission. It was organized, structured, almost elegant, a transmission. The analyst leaned closer, adjusting the filters. The pulsing point expanded into a spiraling geometric pattern, turning slowly, each rotation releasing a soft harmonic echo. It wasn't any known language. It wasn't even familiar mathematics. It was like someone had folded a message into a shape. The universe wasn't used to seeing. Reports began sliding in from automated sensors across the station. Subspace monitors detected a faint oscillation moving through the vacuum, quiet, steady, purposeful. The pattern repeated every 72 seconds, never changing, as though waiting patiently for someone to understand it. There had been signals before across human history. Strange murmurs from deep space, flickers in dark matter corridors. But nothing like this. Theta sent a standard inquiry to command. It would take hours for a reply to return. Until then, the crew decided to watch, observe, and analyze. The signal did not change, weaken, or distort. If anything, it grew clearer, as if adjusting to their equipment. As the cycles passed, the anomaly behaved like it knew it was being studied. One of the junior observers noticed something unusual first. The station's starboard viewport's large crystalline windows, optimized for deep spectrum imaging, were refracting the nebula light differently. Instead of its usual smooth gradient, the nebula shimmered with faint lines. Like invisible brushstrokes weaving through the cosmic dust, the anomaly's rhythm matched the shimmer. Another observer suggested reducing station lighting. When they dimmed the interior down to twilight levels, the entire observatory changed. The holographic map dimmed, revealing faint specks the system usually filtered out. More patterns. More lines. As if the anomaly wasn't a single point, but rather the visible tip of a massive, hidden shape stretched across space. The analyst adjusted the hologram spectrum range. The station's image of the surrounding vacuum rippled, and the crew inhaled as one. A vast lattice of translucent lines appeared, thin as threads, delicate as spider silk, woven like an enormous, three-dimensional tapestry surrounding Theta. It was everywhere, yet intangible, like the afterimage of something monumental that had passed through the region. Long ago, the anomaly's pulse traveled through these lines. making them shimmer as if acknowledging the station's gaze. Was this intentional? Theta's crew ran simulations, overlays, and deconstructions. None explained the lattice. It didn't interact with matter. It didn't block radiation. It wasn't gravitational. It simply existed. A map? A boundary? A message? When the anomaly pulsed again, the lattice brightened along one specific direction, a thin pathway leading toward a distant region of the nebula. The pulse traveled this path like a soft, glowing ripple, disappearing into the blue depths, almost like an invitation. Theta's long-range scanners focused on the location the ripple pointed toward. At first, the readings were ordinary: dust, gas, charged particles. Then the sensors detected something almost too faint to measure: a disturbance in the background cosmic fabric. A barely perceptible fold, not a ship, not a structure. More like a place where the universe was thinner than usual. Theta had documented anomalies before: echoes of ancient supernova, gravitational knots, pockets of frozen dark matter, but this felt different, purposeful, designed. As the crew debated possibilities, the anomaly pulsed again. This time, the harmonics resonated deeper, vibrating through the floor panels with a warm, almost pleasant hum. Several crew members felt a strange sensation, not painful, just unusual, like a gentle pressure behind the eyes, as if the signal were touching a part of the mind not used to being addressed. One observer described it as a soft whisper of curiosity. Another said it felt like someone knocking politely. None of them felt threatened. Just watch. Command finally sent a response hours later. The message was calm but firm: maintain observation protocol. Do not attempt to interact. Await reinforcements. A larger science vessel had been dispatched, but it would take a full day to arrive. Until then, Theta was alone with the anomaly. As the artificial night cycle settled over the station, the anomaly changed for the first time. Instead of pulsing in a uniform spiral, it expanded outward, forming a shape resembling a circular doorway, still holographic, still intangible, but clearly deliberate. It hovered in the hologram like a shimmering ring of light. The crew ran more scans. The ring wasn't physically present in real space, only detectable in subspace readings. Yet the station's external lights flickered each time the ring rotated, suggesting that even if the phenomenon wasn't material, it was interacting with the station on some subtle level. They tried projecting a response, a simple tonal pattern expressing neutrality and curiosity. For minutes, the anomaly did nothing. Then, softly, it pulsed, not repetitively, not mechanically. As if it understood. The station's temperature rose slightly. The vibrations deepened, becoming almost melodic. Not frightening, not ominous, just impossibly ancient, impossibly gentle. Like a choir singing from the far side of time, the circular ring brightened, and the lattice threads surrounding the station shimmered in unison, aligning themselves toward the anomaly. The crew watched as every invisible thread arranged itself into a precise formation, pointing toward the glowing ring. The air in the observatory thickened with unspoken wonder through the viewport. The nebula outside shifted again, not physically, but visually, its colors running like watercolor paint stirred by an unseen brush. The anomaly harmonized, sending a beam of soft light through one of the lattice pathways, illuminating the thin region of the nebula where the disturbance had been measured earlier. The crew exchanged glances. No words were needed. The anomaly wasn't calling for help. It wasn't issuing a warning. It wasn't broadcasting a threat. It was guiding. Leading. Showing. And as the final pulse radiated outward, the circular ring began to contract, folding into itself like a collapsing blossom made of starlight. Its final shape was a tiny point, a bright, perfect sphere. Before it faded from the scanner map entirely, but the lattice remained. The shimmer along the nebula's thin corridor remained. The gentle hum echoing through Theta's corridors remained. And then the station detected something impossible. From the distant fold in the nebula where the anomaly had pointed came a new signal. Not a pulse, not a pattern. Something far more unsettling in its simplicity. A single, Clear tone. Human. A voice. Soft, calm, calling. Theta by name. Theta had never transmitted its designation outside the Dominion network. No one beyond command even knew it existed. The crew froze as the voice repeated the outpost's name. Not mechanically. Not distorted. Spoken like someone standing in the next room, the analyst lowered the playback volume, heart steady but eyes sharp. The voice carried no danger. No fear. No emotion at all. Just one phrase repeated after the station's name. Please observe closely. We are almost here. The transmission ended. Theta's crew stood in silence, staring into the faintly glowing nebula. Something was coming, not a threat. Not a storm. Something ancient. Something curious. Something that had chosen. Outpost Theta first. And as the station lights flickered again softly, almost politely, the crew knew the anomaly had not disappeared. It had simply moved closer. The artificial morning cycle came quietly to Outpost Theta, but for the first time in its long, uneventful existence, the station felt different. Non-safe, just aware, as though something vast and patient was focusing on it from a distance too grand for the human mind to grasp. The crew moved with measured calm, speaking softly, as if even their voices might ripple through the unseen lattice surrounding them. The strange geometric threads woven through the space outside remained as luminous as before, shimmering faintly whenever the nebula shifted. They looked less random now, more deliberate, like strands of an intricate tapestry being revealed one layer at a time. The anomaly had vanished in form, but not in presence. Its influence lingered in the air, in the panels, in the quiet hum pulsing through Theta's decks. The analyst reviewed the incoming data from the region the anomaly had highlighted. That part of the nebula now showed signs of subtle distortion, nothing dangerous but unmistakably active. It was like watching a curtain ripple before something steps through. The crew played back the mysterious message again. The soft voice, calm and unmistakably human, repeated the outpost name followed by those same 6 words. Please observe closely. We are almost here. The analyst paused the recording. There's no distortion, they said quietly. No delay artifacts. No pattern layering. It's like the voice was speaking directly into our receivers. One of the observers leaned in. But from where? The fold? It shouldn't be possible. Even if someone were hiding inside, their signal would have shown interference. It's not someone, another murmured. It's something or some process. The analyst didn't argue. The sense of anticipation in the station felt almost serene, like the calm before an arrival. Not a storm. As the hours passed, the distortion deepened. Not menacingly, simply unfolding. The nebula's colors thickened around the disturbance, swirling in slow spirals like ink in water. The lattice around Theta responded, threads bending toward the region like plants leaning toward sunlight. The distortion pulsed gently. Then it expanded. No sound. No shake, no shockwave. Just a soft, graceful widening of space as though someone were drawing back a veil. Theta's scanners struggled to interpret the event, flashing half-formed readings before stabilizing again. A shape began forming within the fold, faint, blurry, but real. The crew held their breath. At first, it resembled a sphere, smooth, warm-toned, not metallic but not organic either. It grew more distinct as the fold widened, revealing patterns etched across its surface. The patterns pulsed in the same rhythm the anomaly had used. The structure, if it was a structure, floated out of the fold with the slow elegance of a drifting lantern. It was larger than Theta, but not enormous. Its surface glowed softly, as though lit from within. The crew collected readings quickly. No weapon signatures. No dangerous energy spikes. No erratic behavior. The sphere stopped a respectful distance from the station. Theta's lights flickered. Once, then steadied. A signal request appeared on the comms console. No words. No language. Just a simple symbol, a circle with a tiny point at its center. It's asking for contact. An observer whispered. The analyst nodded, their voice steady. Open a visual channel. The sphere's interior brightened. Then an image formed, not a face, but a view of what appeared to be a room filled with soft, radiant mist. Shapes moved gently within it, not humanoid, not defined, almost like silhouettes drifting through light. No sharp edges, no threat. Just presence. Then a voice spoke. Not from speakers, not through sound waves, but directly into the room, clear and calm. Thank you for observing. The crew stood still. No one spoke. The voice felt familiar yet indescribably old, gentle, resonant, like a memory from a dream. The analyst stepped forward, keeping their tone even. We acknowledge your presence. What are you? There was no immediate answer. Instead, the soft mist inside the sphere shifted, forming a shape that looked like a flowing wave. The voice returned. We are the echoes. The analyst repeated the word quietly. Echoes of what? The wave-like shape morphed again, forming what might have been an outline of the lattice surrounding Theta. The strands glowed brightly for a moment before dissolving, again into mist. We are the memory of those who traveled before your kind. Those who mapped the silent currents of the galaxy long before your stars were born. We preserve their journeys, their patterns, their knowledge. The analyst tried to process the idea. So the lattice, it's one of your records? Not only a record, the voice replied softly. A bridge. The crew exchanged looks. A bridge to what? The mist swirled again. Then the sphere projected a gentle beam of light through the viewing window, illuminating the nebula corridor the anomaly had traced earlier. The colors shifted, forming a translucent tunnel that seemed to stretch endlessly into the dark. It is a path, the voice continued. A route your kind has not yet discovered. A place where thought and space intertwine. We opened it for you because the time has come. The analyst felt the tension in their chest ease, replaced with a deep, quiet awe. Why us? Why now? The sphere pulsed softly, as if pleased by the question. Because you observed, it said. Because you listened before acting. Because your minds are ready to perceive without fear. The crew absorbed this in silence. Theta had never been an important station. It had never discovered anything major. Yet here it was, chosen for something older than civilization itself. The analysts cleared their throat. What happens now? The sphere dimmed slightly, as though considering how to explain something vast in simple terms. We offer you an understanding, the voice said. Not of us? Of yourselves. The mist shifted again, forming a luminous shape that resembled the spiral patterns of the first anomaly. The galaxy has layers your senses do not naturally perceive, but your minds are capable of learning, capable of growing. The sphere drifted closer to Theta, not enough to alarm, but enough to make its presence feel warmer. The lattice surrounding the station shimmered brighter, as though resonating with the sphere's proximity. We will leave soon, the voice said. Our presence here is temporary. But before we go, we will adjust the lattice. It will remain visible to your instruments. It will teach. It will reveal paths, patterns, and harmonics you once believed unreachable. The crew watched as the sphere extended a soft beam toward the lattice threads. The threads brightened, reshaping themselves, not randomly, but into a new configuration. The pattern looked like a diagram, complex yet harmonious. One observer gasped quietly. It's a map. The analyst stared at the unfolding pattern. Not just a map, a blueprint. Something we're meant to follow. The sphere's voice softened. In time, do not rush. Knowledge is most powerful when it arrives slowly. The lattice rearranged one final time, forming a gentle arc that pointed deep into the nebula. Then it dimmed to a peaceful glow. Suspended like a web of moonlight across the stars, the sphere pulsed warmly. You have years to study this. Decades. We will return when you are ready. The analyst stepped closer, feeling a calm curiosity wash over them. Before you go, the voice we heard earlier. The one that spoke like a human. Was that you? The mist inside the sphere thickened, glowing with gentle gold tones. We spoke in a shape your minds would understand. We shaped the message using your patterns, your rhythms, your memories. It was not deception. It was accommodation. You reached across the unknown with openness. We reach back in the same way. The analyst nodded slowly. Thank you. The sphere brightened once more. Observe well, the voice said. Your journey has already begun. Without any dramatic flair, without any sound or disruption, the sphere slowly drifted backward toward the fold. The nebula parted gently as it moved, the disturbance easing into a soft ripple. The fold began to close, the sphere fading like a lantern drifting into fog, its soft light dimming but never extinguishing. The lattice threads around Theta remained, glowing faintly like threads of a celestial loom. Then the fold sealed with a gentle pulse. Silence returned to the quadrant calm. Warm, peaceful, Theta drifted quietly amid the stars. No longer an ordinary station, but the first human outpost to witness the echoes. The crew stood together in the observatory, gazing at the shimmering map the lattice had formed. The analyst exhaled softly. We aren't alone, they said. But it feels like that's a good thing. The crew nodded in agreement. The nebula outside pulsed with soft color, as if nodding back. It was the beginning of a long journey. One not of war or fear, but of understanding, slow, gentle, and filled with mysteries waiting patiently to be discovered. Outpost Theta remained where it had always been. But now its purpose was clear. To watch, to learn, to listen. And somewhere in the deep, unseen layers of the galaxy, the echoes watched back with quiet approval. Humanity had taken its first step into a larger, older kind of knowledge, one woven not from power, but from curiosity. And though the sphere had vanished into the fold, its final message lingered in the minds of the crew, soft and steady as a heartbeat. Observe closely. You are ready. The stars around Theta shimmered, peaceful and bright, as the station settled into a new Asian age, guided not by fear, but by wonder.